Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel and to the first of 7 videos covering my travel and experience being in Krakow, Poland. There's a few things that I do really want to mention here before I get into the fun part of showing you guys around. This was my very first time in not only Poland but also Eastern Europe. Would I want to explore more countries around there? You're gonna have to wait until the last video of the series. This, funnily enough, started with a conversation that I had with my friend. It was a random day in January. We were kind of just joking around and I was like, well, maybe I'll come to Krakow for the summer. This isn't the first time that something like this has happened, where I will say something, taking it as like a joke or something that wouldn't happen, or at least this year, and then bam, mid to late August, I'm there. Initially, I had planned to go to Malaga again, but Krakow just happened to be one of the places that were that bit more budget friendly. I am taking on quite a few perspectives from which I traveled, and to answer some questions, whether Poland is safe, how I felt being a Black female solo traveler, the context, the history, things to do, things to eat, places to see. This trip did not go by without a few problems. All of that coming soon. I will be very briefly introducing you to each episode before the actual episode video, but I'm just calling it episode because
why not?
Whilst I did my best to do things more in a vloggy way, it wasn't always possible for me to do it just because of a small insecurity I have about, like, you know, being the foreigner that's always carrying their phone, videoing themselves and things like that. As I begin to get a bit more comfortable, settle in, then you'll begin to see kind of more of me. You will, at least half the time, be seeing me from the hotel, be sharing you some tips and tricks when it comes to solo traveling, especially when it comes to security, to make up for some of the time that isn't vlogs. I'll be chiming in here and there. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this first episode where I'll be making that long travel to Krakow from 4:30 in the morning all the way to about 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, and then from there going to the Wieliczka salt mines. I set my alarm at 4, but then I ended up waking up around 4:30, and then it took me like not even half an hour to be fully ready. I left the house just after 5:40. The Southern Line from where I live departed at 6:02. I got to Krakow. From Clapham, I took a bus going to Victoria Coach Station. When I got to Victoria Coach Station, I was looking for like my destination at the time. Whilst I found the coach that was going to Stansted, it was for 7 o'clock and I didn't see one for 7:30. It was leaving in about 10 minutes. So what I did was I walked to that particular coach and I was a bit confused. So I just summarized it for the driver. He said, oh, it's fine, it is still going to come at 7:30, but he was happy just to take me on board. Like, he looked at my ticket and they were just like, it's fine, you can go now. It took an hour and a half to get here. From Victoria, went to Whitechapel, Mile End, and then it just went straight en route to Stansted. The last time I came here was back in 2022 with my family, going to and back from Istanbul. Honestly, it's so weird. It's not my favorite compared to places like Gatwick and Heathrow, especially Heathrow. There's not as much going on. I mean, yeah, you have like JD, like other bits and bobs, but otherwise it's not really all of that. I don't know how to explain it other than it just feels cold. And I don't know if it's just because of the colour scheme or something else, but it just feels cold. I'm a bit too biased towards Heathrow, especially Terminal 5, because again, I used to work there and every single day was like always a security checks, which, speaking of, I got here, I went straight through security because I already checked in online. I put my bag in, I put the liquids, most of the liquids, I'll tell you which ones I left in a second. My black carry-on bag, it was put to the side for it to be checked. My suitcase came back, that was no problem. The lady that was dealing with my case, she was a bit cold, but then in my head I'm like, you know what, it's the morning. I myself am still waking up, so maybe that's why. Bear in mind, this is 8:30, yeah, like 8:40, coming She saw that I had my edge control and also my shea butter lotion. I had in the past put my edge control in of that like size. I went to Rome and I went to Barcelona. I just put my edge control in my suitcase, which is probably where I messed up because it was in my bag instead. She was like, oh, you can't take this through. It took me a second to like process because again, still waking up. And then I was like, okay, so I can't take either of these things. What can I do? Oh, we can keep it, but I don't know how much it is if you want to post it. I'll escort you out, was her reply. She was trying to touch me, trying to push me as if I wasn't going to go. She was like, oh, I need to go ahead of her, but then I'm not knowing exactly how to get out of the security point. 150ml is not acceptable. That's fine. At the time I was still confused because this cocoa butter lotion that I found, it was literally in the section of like the travel essentials. I stopped while she was trying to escort me because I said, would you mind just to go in front of me because I don't know exactly which direction, because I don't want to disrupt the flow that, you know, security officers have to do. It was just disappointing because if I was anyone else, maybe I wouldn't have been approached like that. The time's passed now, so I'm not really mad, I'm not really sad or anything like that because, you know, I'm hearing the end of it. She then went to like the line just before you put your items in the boxes, and she got someone else and was like, oh, can you escort this lady out? And the lady was just like, oh, what happened? Like, you know, why they send you back? Anything. So I explained what happened. I explained how the other lady approached me and spoke to me. I had to go through the exact security check again, which was alright. They put my edge control and cocoa butter in a separate place. Then they just went through and spoke to me the process. So I have like a barcode, find the quote for that and have it shipped off. That is if I wanted to be shipped off, to be honest. I'm not too fussed. And even like once the person explained it to me, at first I was still like, oh, but the thing's 100ml. And then he's like, no, correction, it's 100 grams. And I was like, I don't understand why the other woman couldn't have said anything like that. I then just got my things, went to the room. I think I'm just gonna eat now, maybe watch something and just wait from here. If you go to the main area, there's so many people. Just like, I looked and I just felt so overwhelmed because there's like loads and loads and loads of people just sitting and chilling and things like that. And I was like, I think I will stand. But then I found like this side, which is just before the gates. In the suitcase, I put mainly clothes. Not swimsuit because in the hotel they have an indoor swimming pool as well. In my black bag there's all the important stuff. My smaller bag will be here with the most important sensitive stuff, my food, bits and pieces. And I'm just looking at it, forgetting completely what I put inside it. But this is what I was talking about earlier when I mentioned that I would be sort of chiming in at certain parts. It was actually the case where somebody had to get out of the plane simply because he was feeling unwell. It took 20 minutes after the supposed time of departure until we actually departed. And then I was like closing my eyes, drifting, dreaming, and then turbulence. Out of nowhere, child. I was trying to sleep. I was not even sleep here. I was trying to take a deep nap, and then starts happening. Wahala starts happening. Do you ever have those feelings where you just randomly wake up and the dream that you were dreaming about or whatever sort of sphere you were in, it's like broken off too early, so a part of you is kind of still in that dreamy state? That was definitely me. When I arrived, I had to go through customs. They were just putting anybody without an EU passport or is not a Polish citizen to wait in this long ass queue. But after they sort of cleared out people that were from the EU and that were Polish citizens, then like more sort of blocks started to open so that other people could, like myself, could easily go through. It was fairly straightforward. Out of all the countries I visited, I think there was only one where they actually asked me, oh, what are you doing here? When I was in Copenhagen, and it wasn't even to like holiday in Copenhagen, it was like a transfer to go from there to Malaga. In this case, it was just fairly simple. Look through the passport, stamp, welcome to Poland. Off I was to the hotel. Here's a little trick after myself and two English ladies were confused for like a good 5 minutes. One time pass. If you go down, there is, right at the very top again, Krakow public transport. Use exact change only. Zone 1 is the entirety of the Krakow city itself. Old town, all of that. If you're planning though to go to the Wejliczka salt mines and things like that, you want to go to zone 1, 2 and 3 because the mines are in zone 2. You've got here the different time periods, 60 days, 20 minutes, etc. If you scroll down again, you'll find 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and then 7 days. Urban reduced is for students primarily. For that, you need to show proof of your student EU ID or something like that. I'm doing 7 days full fare, which is 68 zloty on the 19th of August. Then you've got cash or card payment, and then the tickets will go down. Hey lovely, so just checked in. Let's see what we have here today. So I already put the first key inside for the lights, but this is the room. This is the bed. It's a standard king size room. Bed looks lovely. So does this art back here. Like, oh my goodness. Just have a look outside. Nothing particularly fancy. So they have a car park here, and then just across the street they have a tennis court, which is really nice. Not that I brought any rackets with me. This is a very nice, beautiful gift that I received as part of a gold member. I know I'm lactose intolerant, but you know what? These 5 days, let me treat myself. So the tour starts at 6:30. It's about a 45-50 minute journey. I have to walk, get the train or the tram or the bus. I will find out whichever one it is. On this side, let's finish the tour. There's the cupboard, got the iron board, and then we go to the bathroom. Yes. Toilet. Mirror here, and then look, I'm gonna put this in 0.5, but look at this walk-in shower. One thing that you can always trust is that the hotels such as Hilton, Marriott, etc., Sheraton, they'll always have like all this sort of amenities, so that when it comes to packing, you kind of have less things to pack. You don't even have to bring like the 100 milliliter bottles of lotion. This body lotion, I'll admit, it's not bad. It's good. I use it when I'm working, when I'm leaving, I know my arms are gonna be exposed. Now I'm gonna slowly unpack, and then like I said, I'm gonna find my way to get to the salt mine on time, hopefully by 6, so I do have those 30 minutes in the tower. If not, then I'll be just hoping to get there at least 10-15 minutes before the tour starts. So I shall see you then. I ended up taking a taxi because by the time I finished taking my shower, getting ready, I was way behind schedule. Luckily though, I made it just on time, or 10 minutes before the start of the tour time. There were loads of people that came late for me, so I felt good.
Like the walls, to reinforce them, to support the ceiling, they mainly use the conifer wood, the pine wood. They would soak in, impregnated with salt which is in the earth.
But Kinga came up with another idea. She knew that no rock salt was mined in Poland, and decided to ask her father for a group of salt miners. She wished to find salt in Poland with their help. Without a second thought, the king presented to Kinga an entire salt mine in Hungary. The princess visited the mine on her way to Krakow. She came near the mine shaft and, surprisingly, threw her engagement ring into it.
It's similar to rosa, and it's very, very simple form, but also very effective. That one such device could transport other.
a little break at the moment, but there's like a little place to get a drink or a snack, a bunch of souvenirs, and yeah, it's just amazing. If you look literally above me, it's just incredible. As you can see, guys, there's a variety of souvenir products to take home with you from the salt mines, ranging from health and beauty to skincare to jewelry to little salt pieces, as well as lava lamps for as little as 60 zloty.
1 hour later.
Guys, I just finished my dinner. The food was absolutely lovely. I really should have gotten the hunter stew. I was so tempted by it, but I had already said that I wanted the rib, which is also really, really good. I think I'm just gonna get a taxi back because to go back by bus at this time is a bit too dark. Guys, I changed my mind. I decided I'm gonna take the buses and trams. Now I've got about 6 minutes before the next bus comes. Assuming it comes on time, I'm gonna find out how reliable the local buses are. So it's Nicole from the future. The tour lasted about 2 hours. After the tour, I decided to grab myself something to eat in the Salt Mines restaurant. I'm not gonna say what it is in Polish because I know I'm gonna butcher it up, but in English it is known as the Miners Tavern, which again is deep down. The only way to exit is via this like lift, this gate lift thing. You can't just go on it, like someone has to be there with you that works in the property, in the salt mine, sorry. I went to eat, I got my option, I sat down. About 2 to 3 minutes later, this couple that I'm now going to talk about, they came to my table because there was like limited tables that did not say reserved. The woman, I find out later, is American and the husband is from Spain, but they both, I believe, live in Canada. Out of nowhere, it's just insults. They were actually insulting the servers. Oh, they were not smiling, they're not very accommodating. The food was good but not great. The drink that they had, oh, this drink has only foam, there's no juice, there's no drink. The wife actually went back to the servers and started complaining about it. They're talking about like how unfriendly the servers were. Can you believe that until they opened their mouths, I was so close just to having a random conversation with them? It's my way to sort of continue to push myself out of my comfort zone. But the moment they started opening their mouths to like complain, and not only complain but insult the servers, I was just like, girl, I'm just gonna finish my food and get up out of here. How can you expect everybody in the whole world to be the exact same as you? Make that make sense. I was gonna say something, but I was like, you know what, girl? You woke up early to get here, to check into the hotel and rush your ass for this tour. I'm not trying to start trouble. This is day 1 of me in this nation. Let me not mess it up. But also, my experience with the servers were good. When it comes to like Poland and its hospitality, it's alleged to not be the greatest. I was thinking, you know what, they're not the most open people, but as long as you don't take it personally, you'll be fine. I didn't get any sort of different treatment. Maybe they didn't smile or anything, but it's not like they were being rude. I just felt like the couple took it personally. They were even questioning like, you know, their ability to understand English and things like this. And I was just like, whoa. Thinking about like how to shout at them, like what to say as they would leave. After dinner, when I was waiting to kind of be let out via this gate lift, the same couple come back. I had to wait for them to come because we were the last people to be in the salt mine area. They're no longer complaining about the food. Instead, we're speaking with the tour guide about like how many people have been coming to the salt mine, the increase of people, of tourists that are coming, especially comparing that to 2020. And only then were they like talking about where they were from and where they lived. That was the only reason I can tell you where the woman and the man are actually from, and also where they reside. If you're traveling to a new country, especially a country that, you know, may be very different to what you're used to in your own home country, I feel like you need to an extent respect that and not expect, you know, things, in my case England, to be the exact same in Poland, or like London to be the exact same in Krakow, which, you know, is very silly. Number 2, how reliable the bus and the tram was that evening. When I exited the salt mine, I looked at my Apple Maps on my phone. I was like, let's do it. I want to see how reliable this transport is. I put myself in danger just to tell you guys whether or not transport at night was reliable. Okay, you know what? I lied. I didn't put myself into danger. Krakow at that time in those areas were very safe for me. It actually was. And it was like dark. I believe it was 8:30, 9 o'clock in the evening. And the bus came maybe a minute or so late, but it was only a minute to 2 minutes. And then I got off the bus to get the tram. In Krakow, the tram takes priority over any other transport. With the fare system to get the ticket, it's also really good and actually very cheap. And you know, just me getting that 7-day pass in Krakow, it costed I think either 61 or 67 zloty. I'll show the equivalent in euro and pound, maybe dollar as well if I'm feeling nice. It is really good value for money. When I got on the tram came exactly on time. It was relatively quick. Now I'm fast forwarding to 2 hours after arriving back at the hotel because something's happened. I'm supposed to be sleeping already at this time because I have to wake up around 4:30, 4:45, walk to get a bus and be at the meeting point for the Auschwitz tour by 6:20. I was about to go to sleep, like, you know, wrap myself around. I pull up all the bed sheet that they always put in the, like, they always dig it inside the mattress. On my right, there was, like, at the very top of the cover, a stain. It looked like a small stain, and then when I turned it over, it was slightly bigger. And then on one of the pillows, there was a bit of a stain there too. I can't sleep in that. I'm sorry. I can't. I know in the place where I work, guests will complain of these very same things. But then when I ask them, did you notify any of my colleagues? Did you call the front desk? Did you come down to reception? They said no. If I have to wait in a queue, me personally, I will do it. If I see something wrong, I want to have it resolved, and I need for it to be notified as soon as I notice that thing. I mentioned to her what happened. I showed her the photos. Another very important thing, if you ever go to a hotel and if you ever encounter certain problems, stains and things like that, whether it's when you check in or when you're about to go to sleep, make sure you actually have evidence of this. From there, it's so much easier for us to then be able to begin the process of how we can improve your stay, how we can try and make it right. People want you to come back, unless you're one of those places where it's like, it doesn't matter, we treat you badly, you're not going to come back, sort of thing. We always want to make it right if there is anything wrong. When you're being rude to people about things, sometimes some of you need to realize not everything is for you to shout at and speak nastily to the receptionist. We do not go in these rooms. We have a whole other teams that go specifically in the rooms to clean, to assess everything and all of that. Sorry, I don't mean to rant. I don't mean to talk and talk. It's just that I can't sleep now. I already took my mirtazapine. I'm drinking chamomile tea and it's coming up to 11:30. I'm going to give myself 10 minutes. Maybe less. If I'm yawning now, this is good news. I'm just very happy that the team were able to listen to me and the concern that I had and looked at the evidence, recommended me just to email to them. It was followed up on. I'm not the email itself because it's 11. What the team member at the front desk did do is she notified the housekeeping team. They came literally within like less than 7 minutes, probably less than 5 minutes. I showed them where the stains were and things, but they just changed everything. My phone's on 20% now, so I'm gonna go to sleep. And on that note, let's end the video here. Thank you so much for watching the first episode of this Krakow series. I know it's been a long time coming and you're gonna be seeing me like present day Nicole in all manner of clothes styles, but I'm so happy to finally say this project is on a go. In the next video, be sure to listen out to my little interlude in the beginning before I take you through the Auschwitz tour as well as a few other things. Until then, I hope you have a great blessed day, month, year and week. See you in the next video. Bye.